Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, doing an update to a video I covered a few days ago, which is titled, I took a break from the grind and wife's been treating me like a bum, time for a comeback. And guys, as a brief recap, that's about the guy, I did this video a few days ago, but that's about the guy who spent most of his life on the grind, really making something of himself, kicking butt in life. And I guess a few years ago he started to kind of get a little complacent, take a little break if you will, which frankly is allowed for guys and busting his tail forever. And literally around the same time period he decided to scale back a little bit. His wife started really being a giant pain in the ass. Obviously being rude, being kind of just snotty and difficult and all that. Bedroom actions slowed down, all these things. And the whole video is about him talking about how he realizes he needs to get back on track on his grind. And obviously he wants to do it for himself, but also wants to do it for his marriage. And I made the whole point in the video talking about how all guys can have setbacks. And sometimes you want to kick back and relax, and that's okay. But it's important to get back on that grind for yourself, not to make some woman happy. However, I made it abundantly clear for you relationship guys that if you are the type of guy that's always been driven, successful, a go-getter, and all of a sudden you start getting complacent, a lot of times that's what the wife or girlfriend is used to, the go-getter version of you, and they can get bitchy and difficult and all that, and it's completely wrong. But that's just the female nature. I'm not saying you have to like it. I'm just telling you if you're in relationships, that's what you can expect. And that's confirming why so many guys don't have time for that crap and are bachelors. But in this situation here, since he's a relationship guy, I helped him out with that department. But make no mistake, guys, you do this for yourself. The grind, the purpose. Not to make some girl happy and all that. But it is what it is. Anyhow. So he went through his whole story, stuff like that. I gave him advice. And I also said, by the way, as you guys did too, what does your wife bring to the table? Because she's being so difficult, really, why does it have to be you making all the changes and all that? And I definitely said to him, I'd be looking at the big picture here, whether you want to be with her anymore. But that's just me. Well, anyhow, he's writing in to respond to a lot of questions and comments that both myself and you guys had, filling us in on more information and stuff like that. And he's very grateful that I did the video and you guys chimed in, because he needed to hear a lot of those things. So he's going to give more details here, and I know that you guys that watched it or are interested can hear more about this guy. And by the way, I believe, again, he's in his 40s. He's over in Scandinavia somewhere. I'm not quite sure. One of the Nordic countries. Father, all that. So he says, Dear SSM, first of all, thank you very much for publishing my email. I honestly didn't expect to see this video posted on your channel so fast, but I'm very happy to hear that my story is interesting to you and your community. No problem, bro. I'm here to help. Guys can learn from your situation. I hope my story can help your viewers, and again, after going through your content, I'm acutely aware of the things I'm doing wrong and doing everything in my power to correct them. Well, good, man. One day at a time. But do it for you. That's the key here. Second, thank you to all the SSM community members for your comments. Also, thank you for the smack. I do deserve it. Well, that's why I'm here. Many of your viewers have gone through absolute horror and came back stronger than ever before. I cannot help but marvel at the strength and resilience of all the guys here. Kudos to you guys. Keep grinding. Yeah, over the years, there have been so many guys that have written in to me and told me their stories, and my God, they have been through hell. And they found the strength to get through it and come back stronger. It's amazing. My hat is off to all you guys out there. Well, here's a short update and replies to the questions and comments made to the video. My wife and I are not married, but we are in a sort of civil relationship that's very popular in my country. It's like a marriage light. I know that I'm on the hook for child support and other surprises for my kids should I decide to walk away. But frankly, that is not my intention. We've been together for many years before my wife got pregnant, and I got to see all her sides during these years. Well, clearly not, since it seems that this behavior of hers is new. But then again, she was used to you always being on the grind, so you never saw this side of her when she got bitchy a lot. But the thing is this, your wife's behavior, now that you went off the grind and all that and stopped being the type of guy that she thought you were, that happens to women around the fucking world. That's no different. I'm not justifying it, I'm just telling you that's what they do. Also, my own parents divorced a long time ago, and I still have amazing relationships with my mom and dad today. Over the years, I understood their positions and personalities and learned the lessons and decided to carve out my own path, while also understanding the extent of subconscious emotional baggage that I'm carrying from this divorce. It happened when I was just a kid. You mean from your parents' divorce? When my wife's family asks, when will you get married? I say, we just never got around to it, and that's final. I don't want to invite the government into my relationship. Well, that's good. But then again, if you're basically considered to be married anyway, because you've been together that long, but I guess this is better than officially being married. It's your life, brother. Do what you want. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I speak 6 languages in total. Holy crap. The way I did it is by simply listening to audio courses while doing very boring work when I was younger. It's amazing what you can do when you're left alone at work and you just listen and repeat the exercises of a language course for 8 hours every single day. I think you still have a gift for that, dude, quite frankly. You can learn to speak any language in less than 3 months if you really want to. I don't know about that, brother. That is not me. Holy crap, that's not me. I think you have a gift. Today I use these languages every time I tour with my main band. I have 2 bands, but one is active and we play live shows across many countries. One of the community members commented that I need to be careful talking about crypto since the government in my part of the world has an iron grip on it. The thing is, they can only control the on and off ramps, places where you buy and sell crypto for physical currency, but they can't stop any of the P2P transactions. Nobody can. Since I've been in this space for more than 10 years, and I deserve at least 20 smacks for all the mistakes I made over the years, I feel confident that I can cover my own tracks and never arouse the suspicion of the authorities. And yet you're telling me and sharing this story with the world. Okay. Putting that aside, okay, well, be prepared for anything, bro. Again, on paper, and if you would like to see me in real life, I don't look like anything like a normal crypto bro everybody imagines. I look like a normal guy native to my country, and I look like everybody else. I never replied to comment about cars, Lambos to be specific. I do love snarly-sounding cars with massive engines as much as anybody else, but I can't simply squeeze a ton of music gear into a Lamborghini and go touring with it, now can I? Also, during the pandemic, I noticed that commercial vehicles didn't get so much hate from the authorities as normal-looking cars. So I managed to tour through Europe when everyone else was locked up at home. I get a snarly-sounding muscle car when I no longer need to haul heavy gear or when the kids are out of the house. Well, that's your life, but no. Personally, I could be a billionaire. I wouldn't drive a Lamborghini. Living in Florida, how stupid people are on the road, I'd always be paranoid that somebody's going to crash into me or bump it in the parking lot or fucking key it out of spite. A truck's good for me. You commented on what does my wife bring to the table. I certainly did, my friend. And given how she's been acting, that's certainly a warranted question. Well, she's got the kids covered, and because of that, I have a great deal of personal freedom to continue my music, remote work, and occasional travel. Recently, I went to South America. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and my wife took care of the kids for 2 weeks while I was there. In short, when it comes to all those things, domestic, my wife has it covered. Okay, well, that's good to hear, and obviously she's a good mom to your kids and all those things, but you watch the channel long enough, you must know, you must always, there's trust but verify, but more like verify and trust, to be honest here. You have to always pay attention, keep your eyes open. You never know what could be going on here. And when women get bitchy in attitude, they start feeling resentful. That's where it comes from, the bitchy attitude. And then usually they start justifying certain actions when they start feeling resentful and bitchy. So you have to keep an eye on her. In South America, I had the chance to participate in a psychedelic journey and get a glimpse of what there's beyond the veil. The shaman who helped me is a longtime friend. Amazing what kind of people you meet in the world of punk music. And I got a glimpse of physical death. Not my first time, by the way. And I can say confidently that it's not such a big deal as we are made to believe that it is. In fact, most things we worry about are pure trivial. Anyone who has a near-death experience can confirm this. Shaman, huh? And what on earth were you talking about? Were there a lot of drugs involved? But, okay. Not going to touch that one. For the SSM community, members out there, know this. The biggest fear we have is the fear of death. In reality, death is a sort of transition. Not transaction, transition. Like a coma or a deep sleep. Nothing more. No matter what difficulty or challenge you're facing now, you will get through this. Yeah, that's the way I see it. You die, and it's like going to sleep, and that's that. Unless there is an afterlife. And that'd be nice if there was an afterlife. Seriously. I mean, a good afterlife. But as for the biggest fear we have is death, that's not my biggest fear. I'll be honest with you guys. I won't fear death once I've accomplished what I want to accomplish in this world, do things I want to do, see things I want to see, experience what I experience. When I've done that, and I'm old, what is conventionally considered old, I'll probably welcome it, because the older you get, the more shit hurts. Body parts hurt. You start losing your eyesight, your hearing. People you care about, loved ones. I mean, let's be honest here. And I gotta say this, life really is a lot about loss, and all sorts of things like that. And as you get older, there's more and more loss. And people, frankly, get tired of seeing the world they once knew go crazy with, you got people that are very old now, and they're like, this is what I fought for back in World War II, or you get the point, But for me, I think I'll probably welcome death once I'm old enough and done everything and sick and tired of everything fucking hurting all the time. I think a lot of people when they're older, they're like, hey, take me now. But that's just me. I just simply don't fear it. But there are people that really do fear death. But also, I don't have kids. If I had kids, I'd be different because I want to make sure they're okay. Anyhow, I'm going off here. Just in that kind of mood. Anyhow, he says, when it comes to my wife, her femininity is her natural instinct. Aside from that, she's got a very solid character, and she's been on my side through absolute crappy years when we lived in poverty and misery. Okay, I'm guessing that's early on before you started making something of yourself. Yeah, that happened too. Also, it's important to mention that my wife was a virgin when we met, and I have only been the only man in her life. Well, I hope that's the case, but you have no guarantee of that. Okay, I mean, if obviously you knew when you got together with her she was a virgin, obviously, and that part of her, yes. But afterwards, I mean, you travel a lot, and I'm not trying to plant seeds or anything like that. I'm just being honest here. Women are very, very good at covering their tracks and acting like everything's okay. Meanwhile, they're with Chad and Tyrone, or in your case, hooking up with Bjorn somewhere in Norway, Gotta be careful. And given her attitude lately, women get attitudes like that, and they're pissy and bitchy and all that, they'll start justifying shit. You must pay attention. There are, of course, men that she contacts with at work. But I was never jealous type, and any of her attempts to ruffle my jimmies by talking about other men were met with lukewarm reception from my side. The attitude of, if you don't like it, the door is over there, truly achieves something magical in female mind. Yes, it does, and that's a good way to be. But I want to go back to what you just said there about her ruffling your jimmies by talking about other men that she met at work or whatever. That ain't good. When women talk about other guys, that's usually because they're not happy, and that's like saying, this is your replacement, jackass. And she's doing it to test you. Let's add this to the more shit that she's been doing in the other video that I'm not a big fan of. You must pay attention. Although she's not the best cook, I love to cook, by the way, and very healthy meals. And she's not good with money because her parents didn't teach her to manage money. She works as a civil servant and was never interested in how the financial system actually works. Well, that's not good, and I'm not even going to touch that one about some of the civil servants and not being very about money and stuff like that. I'm not saying you all are like that, but come on, there's certain stereotypes about those that work for the government. But she shouldn't learn about money. And all the fathers out there, you should learn about money yourselves and teach your children so they're not like this. Following my own curiosity, I've read many books over the years, mostly practical stuff about finances, psychology, human, and other topics that help out in life. Not only does this help with inspiration for writing songs, but it shapes the understanding of the world and events around me. By the way, this is why the house I live in is my wife's name. Property taxes in my country are monstrous, and the government can simply steal your property whenever they want. Well, government can pretty much do whatever they want and find a way to justify it if push comes to shove. This is why I only invest in things I can literally own outright and that can be given to my kids without any additional inheritance taxes. Call me paranoid, but in today's reality, only the paranoid survive. Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. Well, you just said property taxes are monstrous in your country. Well, okay, if you're both living in the house, you're still paying for them on the house, whether it's in her name or not. When I'm no longer here, my kids will pay zero to the government, and the fact alone makes me sleep better at night. Today I teach my kids everything I know about the world of finance and investing. Good. Very good, Dad. Keep that up. I would, as soon as you can, let the kids have their own accounts and start learning about everything about that. What things cost, budgeting, writing a check, everything you can. That is the best gift you can give your kids, parents out there, preparing them for real life, adulthood. My mom has said many times over the years, you did your job as a parent when your kids don't need you. It really is the truth. The problem is you got so many parents out there, particularly mothers, that want their kids to always be needed because that has been their role as the mother, and they don't prepare them for real life, so they always come back to mom so she can feel needed, and that's her purpose in this world, and that's not a good thing. Here is what I'm doing to improve my situation with my wife. I always check her shitty behavior when I spot it. Good, you always should do that. It may be occasional eye rolling, sarcasm, or sharp remark. I make sure to bring this behavior to light and make sure I'm not cool with it. Good, nip it in the bud. But this sounds like this happens way too often, man. Pay attention to that. My wife never disrespects me in public, so there's never any issues there. Well, that's good, because that's the ultimate wrongdoing. I don't ever explain to her why I'm taking care of myself physically, but she does notice, and I have extra energy and stamina. So I let her imagination and female insecurity do the work for her. Well, there you go. Like I said, you get back in the gym and get your body in shape, and it will be harder since you're older now. You'll feel good about yourself. You'll feel more confident, secure, and she'll notice. Because a better looking you is more attractive to the opposite sex. And she needs to know that if she doesn't cut her bullshit out and pushes you too far, you can replace her with somebody younger and hotter like that. And obviously, while physical features aren't everything, because let's be honest, if you got a lot of money, you could look like a fucking elephant man and get some chick. Having yourself looking good physically will help your case. And she knows this. I stop explaining my plans and intentions and demonstrate things with my actions. It works much better and my communication is much clearer. Most importantly, I understood that women's brains are wired in a completely different way than men's. 100%, dude. That's something to teach your boys very young. Thank you so much for illustrating this, by the way. My mission is to create something. Her mission is to be there for me, the kids, and make sure the house becomes a home. Right now things are improving, but I understand that I can never, ever let my guard down. No, you can never let your guard down. And this only backs up why so many guys out there have gone their own way and want to be permanent bachelors, because they don't want to have to be constantly not having their guard down. It's a giant pain in the ass, but since you are married and you're with her and you do want to make this work thus far and have kids, yeah, you never let your guard, because the second you do, that's when shit happens. And I mean, not so much like what you may be thinking, but more simply, you can't ever stop being the man. That's pretty much it. Women, on the other hand, love comfort, and there's nothing better for them than to watch TV or those brain rot reels on the internet. Yeah, like TikTok. When I was a poor student, my TV broke down, and I had to entertain myself with books, music instruments, and live concerts. It shaped me into the man I am today. Well, hardship always shapes people into stronger versions of themselves, or boys into men. After I watched so many of your videos, I understand the female need for drama, the disgust of anything weak, and the hypergamous nature in general. Now I see that it was an inevitable part of the female nature, and I fully understand what I need to do to deal with this properly. My gratitude goes out to you and your community. Well, brother, I appreciate that. You want to show your gratitude towards me? Get back on the grind. Start kicking ass and taking names, and stop putting up with her shit. Obviously you're not anymore, but you know my point there. But you do this for you. And if it gets so bad, you know where the exit is. Somehow deep down, we all understand that the great plan of male pussification is not accidental, and it's destroying the male-female dynamic on purpose. I'm very glad to see that men are finally seeing through the BS and starting to discover their value one step at a time. That is what's happening to me, and I hope this is what is happening to the SSM community members out there. Well, we can all agree about a systematic pussification of men out there. That's been going on for years. Movies, TV, media, left-wing media, radio, I can go on and on. Since you love stocks, I recommend you check out the free book called The Great Taking and dive deeper into the concepts of real ownership of your assets. I suspect that the pandemic was not the first time we've seen events of global proportions play out in front of us, and we all need to be ready to be okay no matter what happens. Well, it's not the first, and it won't be the last. As men, it's important to keep grinding, creating, and building. Even in the age of AI, robotics, and unhinged globalist powers trying to make our lives more interesting, he's saying that in quotes, we have to stay strong and never deviate from the path we set for ourselves. Again, thank you and the entire SSM community for listening to my story. I cannot express my gratitude enough. Oscar. Well, Oscar, good to hear from you. You're a good guy, and you're gonna be fine. Just get back on track. But again, as I said before, do it for you. And don't expect rapid change overnight. You're in your 40s now. It's not as easy as it was in your 20s to get yourself in good shape, but one day at a time, eat well. That is key. You can exercise 5 days a week, 3 hours a day, but if your diet is dog shit, good luck. You don't want to have a fast food physique. Eat healthy, good stuff. And hitting the gym and mixing cardio with weights and all that, doing martial arts, Krav Maga like you talked about, you will transform your body and you're going to feel better. And the more success you have in that area, the better you're going to feel. You know, I'm in my late 40s now. Shit, it's amazing. 2 years from 50. And my workouts are very different than they were when I was younger. When I was in my high school through my late 20s, it was all about getting big and strong as hell, massive. And then in my 30s, when I started martial arts, it was more about still staying strong, but more leaner and quicker. And now in my late 40s, I have a lot more body weight exercise more than anything. You know, I mean, I still do the bench presses and the squats and the rows and all that, but I do a lot of pull-ups, push-ups from different angles, dips, all sorts of different stuff, things on TRX or suspension training to mix it up. Oh yeah, a lot more stretching, stuff like that. You have different needs as you get older, you know, it is what it is. But you're going to be okay and get back on your path of improvement and learning and all that. And likely you'll see a change in her behavior by simply being the man you once were. But it will the longer you've been not behaving like who you were, the longer it's going to take her to realize you're back to that guy. But I'm just telling you, you're doing it for you, but that will have a positive effect on your marriage. But you can't put up with her crap. And if there's a point, man, that enough's enough, you know my answer to that. It's not worth dealing with the shit. But you better get an attitude adjustment, that's all I'm going to say. So, bro, good luck down the road, maybe 6 months, a year. Let me know how things are going. You know, I really like to hear from you, and the guys would too. But remember, guys, the point about this whole thing is every guy out there, even the most driven, ambitious guys, can go through a period of time that they get a little complacent. They deliberately just want to kick back and relax a little bit, enjoy their success. There's nothing wrong with that. It happens to all of us, and there's nothing wrong enjoying your success. But I'm telling you now, if you're in a relationship and you've done that, be prepared to understand that women might get a little bitchy about that, and that ain't cool. I'm just telling you what they do. You know, and you can decide how you want to handle that. But then, at the end of the day, get back on track, because you will, as a man, feel better when you're achieving new things, learning something new, bettering yourself in some way. It gives you a reason to get up out of the bed every morning, because most people get out of bed to do the same boring, miserable fucking routine day in, day out, and they're miserable. But I understand they do what they gotta do, typically to take care of their family. But when you're doing something for you, learning something, improving upon something, starting a business, a new challenge, you feel amazing. You feel youthful. That's what I want you to do. And that's that. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. If you like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.